Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you are in the world. I always say that to make sure I accumulate what time you're watching me. Because it might be you're still in your bed and you're figuring out what's going on. You look at YouTube and you see my face and the rest of the people I'm with. But anyway, this is KIDDNAPPA_ The Journey. And I'm from Tables Chronicles, for those of you that know me via Tables Chronicles. KIDDNAPPA_ The Journey. You can find me on Instagram as well at the same. And you could also find the Tables Chronicles on Instagram and the YouTube channels. People follow them, support us, and hear what we have to say. And today I'm blessed to have Nara with me, and before I introduce Nara, I'll introduce his product because I'm always talking about this on Tables Chronicles, and we have the Nara code for us is NARA15 via the Nara shop when you're purchasing it. People, this is it. So I'm blessed to have Mr. Nara here with me today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kid. Really happy to be here. We're all about health. We're all about getting our people healthy. And by our people, I mean all humans, yeah? As soon as you're breathing, you need to be healthy. Get your gut cleansed. Get your system detoxified. Start putting the right food back into your system. And just become the better version of who you're supposed to become.
Yourself, basically, yeah.
Absolutely.
And on the other side of Mr. Nara, we have Vinny. And he is a gentleman who is passionate about Kenya. So am I. He's here to talk about the current situation that we're having against the Kenyan system, where people are speaking how they want to be. I mean, people have the freedom to say what they're not happy with in terms of the current government introducing this financial bill. So, yes, welcome to the studio today.
It's a pleasure, Kid. Go by the name of Vincent Bundi, aka Vinny Facts. Follow me on YouTube and TikTok and Maisha London, where I tell young Kenyans out there who are just like me on how life is in London for a newbie.
For those who well, obviously, because I can understand what Maisha means life in Swahili.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Maisha London means life in London.
Beautiful,
and
beautiful.
Local slang in Kenya. Once someone, let's say you're living a good life, people start saying, "Oh, unaishi London,
Maju.
like you're living
good life."
That's a statement in Kenya when say, "Hey, unaishi London." That's you're living good life. So I want to show people that
Maju.
I
Maju
want to
means
show
up.
people that in London it's the same as where they are. It's only different geographical locations,
and the weather.
time zones, and the weather. Oh, the weather is a beast. The weather
and the
here,
fact that you're not going to see a wild animal just anywhere.
except for foxes. Actually, the UK should be advertising on the airports. Once you come here, just
the foxes.
be aware of foxes.
The urban foxes.
Yeah.
I've never actually thought of that. No, you said it.
These foxes are everywhere on any road.
But they're not scared of humans anymore. Back in our days.
They used to kill them, so they would never get close. In fact, we never used to really see them.
Really?
No, because
back in our days it was rare.
It was legal to kill them.
Yeah.
It was illegal.
It was legal to kill them.
It was legal to kill them back then.
They made it illegal in 2000.
Was it a fox hunting bill?
The fox hunting bill. Yeah, the fox hunting bill which came in.
Okay.
It's a fox hunting bill which makes basically because those guys were furious, but they do some hunting anyway.
Yeah.
But they do it in another way that it can be seen as legal. Oh. But this is the problem because if you even look at it, when you look at coming from Kenya now.
Yeah.
Kenya, the biggest problem in Kenya is poachers.
Yeah.
For the wildlife.
For the wildlife, that's true.
And the fact that they want the elephant's horns because they believe in this Chinese. Yeah, sorry, I said horns. They want they believe in the tusks of the elephant or the rhinos.
Yeah,
they're killing them or chopping them off so that they can get some Chinese medicine or something like that. And I've never understood how people can be so succumbed to such things. And to be honest with you, because I remember growing up, I remember seeing this guy. He had the teeth of a rhino, I believe it was, and he had them all in his house and he was showing them all off. And I was like, but it was legal because he came from that era of pro-colonialism and all of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Nowadays, if you look at how Africa is, like I was saying before, when I've been to Opajeta and I've seen the two lost northern white rhinos, and the reason these ones are alive is because they've been kept in
They're being protected. Yeah.
They're being protected where they are.
24/7.
24/7. And not only
Yeah.
that, they have their horns and stuff. And even when you go to see where they are, you go in with the car, you will drive through this water cleanse thing. And then you drive up and you see where they are. And
Water cleanse.
Yeah, for the wheels of the car. You're gonna
okay.
drive over it because your car has been driving all over the place. So they have this particular water source that you're gonna drive over, and they spray your car as well.
Also for like contaminants and
just-
some infections or something like
yeah,
that.
all
Oh,
that
okay.
stuff. So
okay.
so that you can go see the two last left, and because they've been trying to get them
To repopulate.
they've been trying, but they've not been successful.
I don't think they will be successful though.
Oh, you never say never. The creator, creator.
well,
brings
Yeah,
up
that's
and
that's
you
the
never
thing.
know.
That's the thing though.
How long have they been trying to get them to
A while.
procreate?
They've been there for a
Over-
long time, man.
over
At
2
least
decades
at
now.
least- Is it
Oh,
2
wow.
decades?
Yeah, for almost 2
Oh wow,
decades
that's
now.
a long time. They're probably
Yeah, because
grandparents, aren't they?
those two white rhinos have been in.
There were 3.
Yeah, they have been under protection for over 20 years, if I'm not wrong.
What happened was they were in some Eastern European zoo.
Mm.
That's where they were before they were brought to Kenya.
Were they originally?
No,
Are they originally like from Kenya? Those sort of
no,
rhinos.
no, the white rhino is not originally. I don't think it's originally from Kenya. They're from the surrounding parts like Congo.
And there's only 2
Congo.
left.
It's only 2
Yeah,
left.
there's
whole
only
world.
2 left in the whole
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. It's even the same location has chimpanzees.
Wow.
Chimpanzees are also not they're not native to Kenya, but those chimps have been kept there because people are trying to smuggle them, people trying to keep them, people in Dubai trying to own them.
Olpajeta is not just a conservancy; it's a protective. Let me call it a protective conservancy.
So it's like a national park then.
Yeah,
where you
it's not just a park. This is a protective park where all endangered species, most
being
of them
kept there.
are being kept there.
Okay.
Just to be protected from poachers, because it's easier to protect them in a smaller environment
Yes.
compared to a large. If they put them in the large, because Kenya is known for its large national parks.
Yeah.
If they put them in those large national parks, protecting them may be hectic. But then putting them in a park like Olpajeta, for those who don't know Olpajeta, just Google it, you'll see the size of it. It's a bit compact, so it's easier to protect them there.
No, I understand that, but you know, my thing was because the owner of that place, his name was Khashoggi. Adnan Khashoggi, actually. And you remember the Khashoggi, the other name, when I hear Khashoggi, you think about the one who was killed in Turkey.
The
by
drug,
Saudi
the drug
Arabia.
lord.
No. Saudi Arabia. You know Saudi Arabia killed the guy in Turkey.
Is it that journalist guy?
The journalist
Yeah.
guy.
Oh,
His
yeah,
name was Khashoggi as well. His name was Khashoggi.
The crown prince of Saudi killed a Turkish.
Yeah, well, that's what they keep saying. No, he wasn't Turkish. They
Yeah.
just killed him in Turkey because
Yeah.
what they wanted, he was based in America.
Yeah,
And what happened was they told him to go to Turkey
Yeah.
to get because he was trying to marry the woman, and I
Yeah.
think she was Turkish. So they said to him like, "Oh, if you come to Turkey and get I don't know what paperwork he needed to do to get married
Yeah.
to marry the woman, but they said come and get it in Turkey, and then you go back." However, the interesting thing is the conversation for him. Interesting how we're going into this of Pajeta, but the interesting thing is he told who was supposed to be his wife. He told her, if I'm not out in a certain period of time, just call this number and let them know that there's a problem. Little did she know that they were busy chopping him up and sorting him out and literally dissolved that body. And that's why when I look at that name Khashoggi, I think wow.
Yes.
But that's why I said as soon as I said Khashoggi, I said no. Adnan Khashoggi is the other. He was an arms dealer, billionaire. He had a few wives, and he was enjoying his life, man. But the best way you can, because imagine owning Opajeta. You know what I mean? And then now they've put the wild animals and they've secured them anyway.
Yes.
And they've protected them. They're well protected. Those chimpanzees. I remember even there's one up there because it was kept in a cage for I think 7-8 years, and he was standing straight. You know, it's weird because the animals are normally they don't stand upright, but this one stands upright. However,
So
on looking
affected
at
his
it,
brain now, so he probably thinks he had to stand up.
just
now, doesn't he?
yeah, because of the setup it was in. But
Yes.
I think I put it on my Instagram. I did do when I was talking about it, and I put it on TikTok and I put it on YouTube to let people see how that looks. But interesting thing is when you look at that particular one, it's a very violent one because I didn't know chimpanzees are violent as this. Because even when we were there, he had picked up a big rock and he was like busy banging. He was banging. Because we went there during the feeding time.
Was he protesting too?
He probably had a reason to protest, man. He had a reason to protest, you know what I mean?
He was protesting about food, yeah? And people in Kenya protesting about food.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think-
coincidence? I don't think so.
Which is a sad face, isn't it? Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think Kenyans. I don't know. What do you think about these protests anyway?
It's. I think it's all about governance. Just to boil it down to the core business of it all, it's all about governance. Because I don't think there's any Kenyan out there, even personally, as I'm a Kenyan in the diaspora, I have no issue with paying my taxes. I remit money as regularly as I can back at home. I send money, and I know this money in one way or the other. Thankfully, they're not taxing me sending it back at home right now. But then when I send that money back at home, it's getting used in other ways.
Yes.
Yeah. If people are buying food with it, they are paying taxes by buying food. You know,
You're helping the economy. You're helping the economy,
exactly.
To
So
some extent, yeah.
yeah, so I'm sure there's no Kenyan out there who's anti-paying the taxes. We all are in for paying the taxes. We want to pay our taxes, but then the bottom of the bottom thing is how
Bottom
are these
line.
how are these taxes being used? Because these leaders are not. They are, and this is what has brought up
Can
this
I
whole,
correct you there for a minute?
Yeah.
So-called leaders.
yeah.
Yeah, that word leader is very powerful. We keep saying African leaders. I'm kind of no. So-called leaders.
Those are people in positions
Yeah.
of dictatorship.
Yes.
So let's call them politicians then.
Yeah, that's
These
that's a great
politicians-
word. Yes, yes.
Yeah, these politicians then they're taking us for a ride because you cannot tell me that in Kenya junior high school teachers have not been employed yet. Right now, as we speak, the clinical officers in Kenya, if you go to a dispensary or just a small hospital in Kenya, the person who's supposed to meet you there is a clinical officer. He is not really a doctor, but then he has qualifications of a doctor. Not so much as a doctor, but then he's qualified to handle the small cases, not the
Yes.
big cases, the small cases.
Yes.
These guys have been on strike right now for almost 4 weeks, if I'm not wrong. They have been on strike 4 or 5 weeks, if I'm not wrong. Doctors had been on strike for almost 1 month.
Wow. Before
the clinical officers went on strike, doctors had been on strike.
So it was before
Teachers had-
everything kicked off.
Before even the protest began, the teachers were on strike, doctors were on strike, nurses are on strike. Almost every aspect of the industry has been on strike. Almost everyone was on strike. But then the government does not see that as an issue. The president is busy out here flying left, right, and center.
That man flew in a private plane. No, sorry to even cut
Yeah.
into it. This guy flew in a private plane, and the country has an international airline. I couldn't understand that. I was trying to understand how that was, and I think the cost of that is quite heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, the transport alone was like allegedly 200 M, but then he said we never paid more than
200 million
200 million
shillings.
Kenya shillings.
Yeah,
that's like how many million pounds? Several million
Ridiculous money.
pounds.
Ridiculous money.
But
Put like
then-
this, it will
but then-
feed a village
Yeah,
Basically.
for a year or so.
not just that. That money was enough to build a level 4 hospital.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's deep.
That's mad, actually. That is mad.
So what he was flying in for that short time period could have built a hospital
That
that will leave
that-
legacy and help heal
The
people.
thing is, and it's not just that, yeah? There's every single day a cabinet secretary, one of the ministers in his cabinet, is on record on national television saying that this government, they hold a lot of seminars, a lot of trips, meaning the people are in those offices just for the per diems. You know?
That's crazy.
Money is not an
Where
issue.
do we go here?
It doesn't.
It's never an issue.
Explain it to me. How comes one out of the budget Kenya sets itself for? Kenya's set itself to spend 3.6 trillion as its budget in this financial year. Out of 3.6 trillion,
Shillings.
1 trillion shillings. That is, we say that's almost 18. No,
6.1
that
billion
was one.
something,
That was
yeah.
one.
Billion,
That
yeah.
was one. That was 1 trillion.
Yeah, that was
3,
okay. Yeah.
So 3 that is like 18. So probably 19 billion pounds.
That's a lot of money. Does the UK even spend that kind of money?
They do spend
That's
that kind of money.
that's the budget, yeah. So for the budget, 19 billion pounds, you can't tell me that 1.1 trillion over 6 billion is only going to salaries of state officials and government officials. 1.1
Wow.
trillion.
That's incredible.
That's crazy.
It doesn't add up, you know?
That's incredible.
No, but the thing is, you know what I find
That's
interesting?
close to 50%
Of your
of the whole
Of your
country's budget.
But surely when they are paying themselves that much, consciously they will think there's people in my constituency or in my area
It's greed.
who are really struggling.
Greed doesn't do that.
So-
greed doesn't do that. You see, that's the area where all of us have a bit of a difference, because we sit down and think about other people. We think about the betterness of other people. You've got your product. You're talking about people's health and everything else along that line.
Yes.
You got people back there who couldn't care less. I remember I saw a guy with no legs crossing the road, and I had to think this guy was crossing the road by crawling up because he had no wheelchair access. It's like, these are the things where I look and I think to myself, surely when you guys get in government, you should be able to build like a facility that can look after some of these people. Yes. Because in the UK, that's literally what we have in this country, whereby people who are disabled,
the system works.
The system works.
It works for them.
That's the
you see what I'm saying? Wherever they're getting the money from is another story.
Yeah, but
that's a whole
but the
conversation.
system
But
works.
then, even if you taxed us, let's say I'm earning a salary of 100,000 Kenya shillings. Even if 60,000 Kenya shillings went to tax, but then I can see the transport system in Kenya is okay. I can see that the health system in Kenya is okay. The education system in Kenya is okay. The food security in Kenya is okay. The security in itself, I'm not insecure in whichever place that I live.
Yeah.
If all those factors were good, and I paid over 60% of my salary as taxes, I would be so happy to do it.
And what's the tax rate in Kenya at the moment?
It's close to 40%.
Okay.
30 to 40%.
And that's about the same as Scandinavian countries, I think. Or Switzerland, isn't it? One of them is
because
that.
the first taxation bracket is 30%. That's the first taxation bracket everyone gets.
Jeez,
then it goes on going up until close to 40-45%.
I don't know.
Depending on how high your salary.
So what's the end goal there for what does Kenyans, you guys, want as an end goal from all of these incredible protesters? Which I think is good.
And this is the thing, yeah. I want first of all to demystify something, that these whole protests had been funded by people, instigated by certain politicians. No, this is just angry young people, angry millennials, angry
the future
Gen Z.
generation, basically.
Yes. We have always been told we are the leaders of tomorrow. We are the future of tomorrow. When will that tomorrow ever reach?
You grow up being told this, and then you get to a point you start wondering, what am I supposed to do?
There's a Swahili saying that says, sana ikizidi sana inakuwa mbaya sana. Meaning, if much is too much, it becomes extremely much. You get it?
It becomes too much.
Yes, it becomes too much. If it's already much.
That's deep, actually.
Yes, don't much it more much, okay? So, and the governance is what really brought people out to the streets. And right now, the politicians, as we call them, have infiltrated the whole thing. So I don't think today protests are being held. Protests were held on Tuesday, but then the number of protesters were fewer than the number of goons. And this is the thing.
They always seem to have goons ready to go and attack these guys as well.
And I'm not
they're
saying...
suppressing them, basically.
And I'm going back to us as young people, first of all. I want to castigate the young people. The guys who are out on the street are there to fight for your right and to make sure that...
To protest,
and to make sure that whoever in power... sees that the guys out here are jobless.
Yes.
The guys out here don't have money, so that they can rectify the system so that you and I can have jobs. But then you don't see that. You accept this little handout. You accept these £1, £2. That's like 200 shillings, 500 shillings from these politicians, and come and disrupt this peaceful protest that was to benefit you. All because of this small handout that you've been given today. I get that comes... Your argument will be, I didn't have any money, I didn't have food. But then there's always a bigger picture to everything.
Of course. That's why we are where we are as a continent, because there's always shortcuts. We're always looking after the shortcuts over the long term, isn't it?
You know a funny thing as well, right? Because they're sending the police, the Kenyan police. They've been sent to Haiti. Yeah. And to those of you who are listening and happen to be from Haiti or of Haitian origin, people, I am sorry on this level of me saying I'm sorry, because I'm not working with the system on this one. I don't understand why they send Kenyan police in Haiti in the first place.
What was the reason for them sending them to Haiti?
They say Haiti needs help and it needs some. I don't understand, bro. This is the thing. My thing is this, and I said this on Tables Chronicles. Interesting enough, because I said it, but when I said it sounded like it was funny, because I said the army initially. I didn't know it was the police. When I looked at it and then I realized it was the police, I was like, oh, okay. I need to correct myself when I'm back recording with Tables Chronicles in terms of correcting that, because somebody definitely will pick it up and say, yeah, well, you were saying the army. Yes. But here's the thing. They send the Kenyan police over there to help the problems that's going over there. However, I haven't seen any Haitian politicians speaking about it. I've not heard any of them saying that they need assistance or they need any sort of help. I've not seen any of that. And at the same time, when I look at it, I'm thinking to myself, this is a country that was supposed to be, that's the one Caribbean country at the time has been building a relationship with Africa for a very long time. Because if you look at it, there was a time period where Africans were never a cool people. For a long period of time.
No.
Tell me about that. Actually,
growing up in London, I came to this country when I was 11, so I started my secondary school journey here.
Yeah,
and we used to be called Boo Boo.
African booty scratcher.
And the name that I used to be called, the name everyone used to call me at school was Chocolate. Yeah. And I used to get into fights all the time. I was dark, so obviously I'm a dark, beautiful skin brother. Yeah. So. Yeah, that was the name they used to give me, and I used to get frustrated because I didn't know myself. My self-knowledge wasn't that great.
It felt different.
It felt really different. Now I wish people call me Chocolate. You know what I mean? Now I wish they call me Chocolate.
And that time, if you're fair-skinned, you were the you're the it.
Yes.
And if you're dark-skinned, it's good luck to you kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It used to be a very
being Caribbean was the thing.
Everybody wanted to be Jamaican or try and sound Jamaican or not really the other Caribbean country, but mainly Jamaican.
Mainly Jamaican.
Jamaica is even if you look at the
islands, a little bit of Bajan too, you get a little bit of that, but mainly Jamaican.
You get the other ones, but as soon as you recognize Jamaica, you say, yeah man. Even I tried to check myself the other day because I was a Jamaican brother I was talking to, and he looked at me and he as I was talking, he goes, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man, I can tell that you've grown up around Jamaicans. And I was like, why? He said, half of your pronunciations are just I was like, because the thing is, being in London, everybody says Wagwan,
yeah. Actually, most of the London slang is derived from the Jamaican.
It's from Jamaica.
The Jamaicans had a huge impact
on the culture.
I always tell even the guys, my other guys, their backgrounds are Jamaican. I always tell them, I say, small island, big influence.
Big influence.
Big influence, man. Because even when you look at food, you get some rice and peas. I still don't know why it's called rice and peas when it's beans anyway.
You do know. You know what? Interesting for when we were just on the Jamaican.
Well, that's wache.
It's a wache. So obviously a lot of the Jamaicans got the background from Ghana.
Yeah.
So for me, one of my biggest dream, and it's gonna happen in the next few years, is I want to go to the Jamaican Blue Mountain. Yeah. As a herbalist, that's like my heaven.
Oh my God! Actually, because you're a herbalist,
yes,
I've seen documentaries of the are they called the Bobo Shanti, the herbalist in Jamaica.
Yes.
Because there's that tribe in Jamaica who are purely herbalists.
Pure herbalists.
Yeah,
it's not a tribe. It's a people, man.
They are my connection to. Obviously, they got a connection back from Ghana and Nigeria at some point, and a bit of Ivory Coast. But mainly we are connected. And when I speak to herbalists from the Jamaican continent, Jamaican country, continent, God, where am I? We exactly. See, now you gave me a thing. It is the connection that is beautiful, and now Ghana's like the renaissance for herbs. Literally, a lot of herbs are coming out of Ghana.
Oh, that's nice.
And then it's always come from Jamaica. But Blue Mountain Jamaicans, I'm coming over. When I'm coming over, I want someone to take me over there.
Tag me too. I'm gonna tag along.
Yes.
So since you say mountain, is it mountain or is it mountain?
Because a plantain. Yeah. I like that. That's a good thinking. That's a good one.
I always like to raise that because
plantain.
Because I tell you something funny. I found myself. There's one particular spot I go to get food, and the woman, I always tell the woman, I say, I want. I said, yeah, so rice and peas, and I look at her, I said, no, beans. But I like to pull her leg, and she's always prepared for me when I'm ordering my food. So I say, yeah, and I goes, yeah, and she will go to me, do you want some plantain? And I'm like, it depends on which one is gonna be. Should I climb the mountain or the mountain? There's always a little bit of banter. Always a banter I do with her all the time. I just laugh off, get my food, and I bust out. I'm done. But anyway, bruh, if you haven't been, you haven't been Jamaica yet?
No.
Bloody hell, why?
No, I haven't. Do you know what? I've done more of Africa traveling. Well, a few countries in Africa.
Okay.
But not Jamaica. Not Jamaica. It's definitely on my list. Jamaica, Barbados, and St. Kitts.
St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah. Those are like my three at the moment. I would like to go. But for me in Africa, my top 5 will be Namibia as number 1.
Okay.
Then
to
visit.
To visit
Then
the
Rwanda
desert.
because of being
unity.
apparently the most cleanest city.
The unity.
And Namibia,
After the war
apparently
they
they got the best roads in Africa.
Yeah, that's true.
And then also where the ocean meets the desert.
Yeah.
That for me is like amazing.
Yeah.
And then Egypt, obviously based on the Ra comes from Egypt. So strong in Egypt there. And then Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone is on the list.
Salon.
Sierra Leone on the list. And then the last one would be Kenya.
Yeah, man, come through.
Yeah,
man. Come
yeah.
through,
So I don't know
Kenya
how it's
awaits
gonna
you.
happen, but I would like to do those.
You know the thing is, if you come to Kenya, you're gonna go to Rwanda because it's easier.
It's just
It's faster and
So
it's
there
just
you
next
go.
to the corner.
Is that like an hour, 2 hour flight?
It's,
Oh really?
Yeah.
it's
Can you-
like it's
Is it drive? Can you obviously?
yeah. You can drive actually.
drive, yeah.
Driving takes like 18 hours.
Oh really?
Yeah, but
Wow.
interesting.
But driving, you go through Tanzania. You can choose to go through from Kenya through Tanzania to Rwanda, or from Kenya you go through Uganda.
Yes.
You go through Burundi, then go to Rwanda.
Wow.
So if you choose the road trip,
Yes.
it becomes
Africa is a beautiful place.
A bit more of an
Africa is a
experience.
beautiful place.
A bit
It's
more of an experience.
Yes.
If you choose the air, 1 hour, 2 hours. Actually,
Yeah.
2 hours, I think. Yeah.
I think
It's
it'd be nice
like-
to do the traveling through.
Now, I always say, my journey. Actually, I've been saying I want to do a trip, an African trip properly, and I've been looking. I remember I called you about this one with the
Yes.
Land Cruiser. I want a Toyota Land
yes,
Cruiser.
yes, we talked about
Toyota,
it. Yes.
Toyota Land Cruiser. I'm looking for the sponsorship. The sponsor from Kenya to South Africa.
Yeah.
From South Africa now coming back up north. But I want to do all the countries of Africa. I want to visit them with a car, so that people can see. But the interesting thing about driving in Africa will be the fact that you'll have to understand that you are driving on this part of the country.
Yes.
So you need to understand that you need to keep left or keep right.
Yeah. There are some countries. Okay.
Rwanda is the other side, isn't it?
Rwanda drives the same as the UK or
opposite.
opposite. Okay.
Yeah. So all the countries
East Africa,
leading.
in Eastern
Yes.
On the
Eastern
same
Africa,
side.
Eastern Africa, apart from Rwanda
Rwanda.
and Sudan,
Yes. in
apart
Sudan,
from
yeah.
Rwanda and Sudan,
Yeah.
I think most of the countries are left. Drive on the left side of the road.
Oh, okay.
But then most countries in Southern Africa, they're also on the left. So that's a bit of a.
Do you know? I find one very interesting. Yeah, if you use the tube,
Yeah.
or any trains,
Yes.
you go on the escalator. Where did they tell you to stand?
You stand on the right.
the
is it?
right.
They tell you stand on the right,
is it?
but then when you get to driving, you stay on the left.
Yeah, that's because you're a pedestrian then.
But no, I've always wanted to understand why that is.
Yeah, because
I know the reason they said they came up with this driving thing, the driving side of the road,
Yeah.
is because of the whipping of the horse while being on horse carriage. That's how the driving came about. But because I think it was Leopold, not what's his name. This guy that sold off the U.S. What's it called? Louisiana land sale was behind. What's his name?
Yeah, I've seen back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I see
you've
the
seen
history.
about the
Yeah.
Louisiana land
No, I
sale.
haven't. No.
Louisiana land sale.
Educate me.
Did it belong to the Italians or
No. Louisiana was owned by the French.
Yeah, the French. Yeah,
So
it was the French.
Louisiana
They sold
was
it by
from where Louisiana is now, going all the way into Canada.
Oh wow.
But
and
when they were
going
selling,
all this way to
it comes in basically the Midwest of the United
Yeah.
States was all there. So even if you're in places like Missouri State, you see the French names in some places. There's a place called Des Moines, but when you see it's DES
yeah.
and MOINES. However you see it, when you see it, Des Moines, as a Kenyan, it's a Des Moines.
Yeah.
Des Moines.
Yeah, I get you.
But it's Des Moines.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a French.
It's a
French.
Sorry.
It's a French word. But anyway, so the Louisiana land sale, and we're gonna come back to the political talk for a second. But Louisiana land sale was by I forgot his name, but he sold that land off to carry on with the war, but he still lost the war.
Yeah.
He still lost the war, but he didn't know what the USA did not know what they bought fully. So when they went to actually look at what they bought, they realized
it's like a
wow,
vast
that this guy sold all of this. This guy was stupid.
Yeah.
This guy was stupid because like literally, how would you sell all of this and then to fund war, which you're gonna lose anyway? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I forgot that guy's name, but he was, I think he was left-handed. That's where I was trying to get to. I think he was left-handed. So that's where you sit down and you're like, wow, okay. Let me even put this on. Let me get his actual name. But yes, back to it.
So in Kenya, So
in Kenya.
So what's the results now? What's happening now on the ground?
So right now, as we speak, I'm from the last report that I read, official report from the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, which is like the National Commission on Human Rights. 39 people are dead, close to 400 people injured, over 100 and something people shot.
Wow.
A couple of tens of police officers injured too. So first of all, I want to pass my condolences to the family of the guys who lost their lives.
The little boy, 12 years old, man.
Yeah,
what's his name? Onyango, isn't it?
I don't really know his name, but then he was shot in Rongai, and then the president. Let me just shock you, my brother. The president had the audacity to sit in front of national television and ask, "Yeah,
is he alive?
He's alive, isn't he?"
Well, you should know. He's the president. He should be getting on information.
He's alive, isn't he? How dare you ask?
But he was dead, basically.
He was,
the boy 7 shots dead.
At 12, is he 50 Cent? He's
but
12.
no, I know, but I'll tell you something.
50 Cent, he said.
I'm not trying to defend this, but I said it to somebody, and the guy said to me, he said, I said it to a Sierra Leonean individual, and he said to me, what was the boy doing in the first place?
Okay.
And I thought, you know what, that is a valid point. You brought up an interesting question. Why was he there in the first place? However, fact of the matter remains, it's supposed to be a peaceful protest, so why is the guns coming out? You know what I mean? And the thing is, Kenyans just want that validation, the access to be free to speak. Because when we're in London, if we decide to go and protest here, we will just be told, hey, finish up and move on. Do you know what I mean? That's
no guns, no nothing.
Yeah. The whole
you need a permit too, don't you?
No, before you can own a gun.
In Kenya, the permits were given. Okay, and here's the thing. First of all, I want the guy who's in charge of the police area of Nairobi. He's called Adamanson Bungei. That guy should be, heavy charges should be levied against him because that guy misuses his power. First of all, anytime prior to these protests, anytime people would want to hold protests in town against the government, you know what he used to do? He used to say no protests allowed. Where he doesn't, and he doesn't have the power to do that. No. That power is not in his hands. And he used to refuse people to go there. Right now, most of the deaths that have occurred have been within Nairobi, which have all been within its.
So was this like a countrywide protest then?
Yeah, the thing is,
this whole Generation Z basically they took all cities.
Nairobi is like the London. Nairobi is like the London of Kenya, yeah, because it's the capital city. But then there are different other towns. There's the Brixton of Kenya, different towns. So these protests were happening across the country.
So it was very organized. It was coordinated, basically.
I mean, these guys were they wanted to get their point across.
Yeah, so it happened in almost
in fact,
every single town.
Every embassy outside of Kenya, where the USA people were protesting up that way. What's it called? London,
yes,
protesting. I think France, Berlin,
France, Spain,
Berlin.
I think too.
Yeah. So guys, what it is this generation has just got to a point and said, look, guys,
enough is enough.
You can't just be stomping on us just like that. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. You know what I mean? And it comes in. It's such a gray. When you think that you have the right to do some of these things, and it gets to a point, it's like, what's going on here? Yes. Because in Kenya, in Kenya in itself, even when you talk about guns, there's a gentleman called called Babu Owino.
Yeah.
He's a
member of parliament.
He's a member of
Shot
parliament.
someone in a club. There's CCTV footage of him shooting the person.
He
in
shot
the
the
club.
When
he shot
was
the
this?
brother.
Is that
This,
recent?
no,
That's a
no, this is
recent-
this is
that's
about
like
2 years now.
No,
3 years.
4 years ago, I think.
Yeah, this guy still works in government. But here's
Oh,
the
really?
thing. Yeah, but what I found very interesting is that the guy walked into the club with a gun. And it tells you cannot come here with a gun. Number one, you're drinking.
Yes.
So where's you're supposed to be a leader. So where's your leadership by example?
Is Kenya? Are you allowed to carry guns in Kenya?
No, you have to have a license to have a weapon.
For you to get the license, it's also.
But he got into an argument. With this with the
DJ,
DJ. His name
Evolve.
is DJ Evolve, and he shot him and decapitated him basically because the guy can't.
The
walk
guy
no more.
right now is bedridden, spine done,
He's-
nothing.
Oh no.
Yeah. If you see, and then what happened was after he shot him, they were dragging his body to take it to the hospital, and it's like, mate, you finished this guy's life basically,
And he's still in government. He's
He's still in
He's a
government,
member of
bro.
parliament.
He's even talking against the president at the moment. And I was looking, I was like, well, this is a bit cheeky, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And even, I remember seeing him saying to one person, you can't talk to me about this because it's not part of, it's illegal something that's happening. I'm thinking to myself, mate, the audacity you have for you saying that just goes to tell me what exactly as a Kenyan are you supposed to believe and see? Because you've come up and built a place for where the guy should stay and the care work, you're covering all those bills.
Yeah, but
at the same
doesn't matter.
time, you just finished the guy's life, man. He's never gonna have an experience to have children in any of those things. Do you know what I mean? That's just fucked up.
I think we use money in this world to try and cover a lot of things up.
Control so much. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
life is about just living. You know, the most joy you can get in life is if you're one with nature. You got people around you, you're
This is
smiling,
it.
you're relaxed. You know, you're eating, you're sleeping. That is the basic of life. The rest is just
The
stuff
uncertainty of it,
that we want. I always say to my son, you know, I say to him, right, are you gonna drink water? He's like, yeah, I want to drink water. There's no. You need to drink water. There's a difference between
It's
need and
not a matter of I'm
want.
going to
Yeah.
know. It's a matter of you should.
Yeah, you should.
You must be
It's the
drinking
same
it.
thing. We don't. Yeah, money is important. We need that to pay certain things. But once you do that to somebody's life, you shouldn't be using money to say, "Oh, but we've built this and that." You've taken a person's life away in terms of their livelihood. So for me, it's just a shame. And once again, it comes back down to
And okay.
health and looking after ourselves and being one with nature. Because
So going back to the precipices of all these things, yeah.
yes,
What happened was the government, the president's advisor, personal advisor,
yes,
when it comes to matters of business, economics, his name is Professor David Ndii. He's on social media, texting them insultive messages and all that, which personally I disagree with because it goes beyond like what you guys are fighting for the law to be upheld.
yes,
You can't break the law while fighting for the law to
The
be
law,
upheld.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
so
Yes.
by breaking all these data protection laws, still, even if you achieved something, that does not negate the fact that you guys broke the law.
yes.
So going back to this guy was like, you guys, you're just speaking online. You guys are digital wankers. There's nothing you guys can do. And I think I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but honestly, that must have been the spark. You know,
The trigger.
the oil was there. The oil had already been poured. The petrol was already coming out of the car.
igniting.
You know? Yeah. So we just needed that small spark.
Yes.
So by calling people digital wankers, people are like, hold on, you think we're just here as online keyboard warriors alone?
Keyboard warriors.
You think we cannot get out on the streets? You think we cannot make this government listen to us? Hold our beer. Just let us bring you some Nara things to detoxify that government.
yeah, I like that.
Let us bring you some Nara tablets who will detoxify that government. And that's what they did. They
Yes.
flooded the streets of not just Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, Kakamega, even the president's hometown.
Oh wow.
Where is he from anyway?
He's from Eldoret, yeah? He's
Okay.
from that region of Uasin Gishu. His own town
But it's amazing how he made. I saw his speech where he made that quick U-turn, and then he started talking
No,
about.
it wasn't a quick one because you know what? He did it the day after. After a few deaths have happened already, that's when he was cancelling it. That's where the people are pissed off.
The first protests happened on. Let's say this Tuesday. The first protests have happened this Tuesday. People have been arrested. All of them who were arrested, the court said release them. They were protesting peacefully, release them. So people are released.
Okay.
On Thursday, people went to the streets again because people had said we are not done until you listen to us. On Thursday, people went to the street again. Now that's where the first casualties were reported. The guy called Rex and Kiratu, those were the first casualties because they were shot.
Rex is a well-known kind of person, isn't he?
Not really.
Oh, okay. But he was out to get his point across.
Yeah, he was out there protesting because it could have been anyone. It could have been anyone. And because this guy, what happened was it was at night and these copies on video shooting live at
Sniper.
people like this. No, it was not the sniper.
Oh, really? It wasn't that one? Okay.
It was evening.
Why would you have a sniper at a protest?
No, they had that.
Now that's another one now. So
if I send you the clip, I was like, damn, man. But whoever had the camera got that picture really well, man. Because it's like, this is the guy who's shooting, and you could see the way he's just chilling.
That must have been a very good zoom
wow.
lens.
And then because to get such a clear picture.
That must have been a very good.
Another
zoom
thing
lens.
is, the other side, because the Blues brains literally were blown out.
But then that happened on the next Thursday. I want you to understand that happened on the next.
So when
Thursday.
did the president make that U-turn?
Now listen now. When did the protest here in the UK happen? On the 25th.
Tuesday.
On the 25th,
Yeah, that was a Tuesday.
So the Thursday before the 25th, that's when Rex and Kiratu died. Those were the first casualties. People were like, why are you shooting at people? It's at night. These cops are on video shooting directly at people. And the first guy was killed. So people were like, yo, because you guys have decided to kill us, we are coming on the street again on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, because you guys are now voting for the bill, we are coming to occupy Parliament. So that's why on Tuesday, as in the UK, we were protesting at the High Commission at Portland.
The embassy.
Back in Kenya, people are busy breaking into Parliament, and people. The initial narrative of this Occupy Parliament was not to go and enter Parliament.
What was
it was just to be outside Parliament. We want
protest.
to sing, we want to protest, we want to sing the national anthem, we want to shout. As the members of Parliament are in that building debating, we want them to hear us.
What's interesting is,
those guys. But then as guys were approaching
that's
Parliament,
when the shots come in.
First 2 people were shot dead.
Oh, wow.
So people were like, hold on, you're killing us.
Yes.
We are coming now inside that building. You get it?
Those
like
guys.
it's a matter of action reaction.
Yes.
You've shot us. It could have been any one of us. If we were in the streets that day, it could have been. I know for a fact if I was in Nairobi, and I would have been in the streets that day. So, and that's what really made people really, really, really angry because they were like, "What's happening?" People stormed Parliament. And
you know what I found funny is I know it's so serious, but I found it interesting when the guys broke in there and the first thing they went to do is eat the food.
It's because
you're hungry. They're hungry.
It's because fair play. It's because the kitchen was the first, like it was the nearest place from where the security was breached. That was the first, because they came in through the kitchen and the cafeteria.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like the first place.
You could see the guys just grabbing away and eating. I said, these are people who've had enough, my friend.
Yeah, and then people were like, yo, on Thursday we are going to State House. We want to compare which chef is okay. Is it the Parliament chef or is it the State House chef?
Yes.
but that didn't happen for the State House.
My interesting bit was, I was interested, he talked about reducing the carbon.
On Tuesday,
and why didn't you do that during the
Tuesday,
first day of reducing?
Let's go back on Tuesday.
The carbon.
No, he was just saying about the government. He was going to cut down the
ministers'
pay.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I thought, that's interesting. Why did you not? So it had to take a protest for you to realize common sense, basically.
On Tuesday,
which I found it quite interesting.
When people broke into Parliament, this is what I wanted to say. President himself went on national television and said, this was a treasonous act. These are criminals. So guys were like,
Oh yes, yeah, that's what.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
they said we woke up as.
we woke up as
What do you, I forgot what that saying
peaceful
was.
protesters. I don't know
Yeah,
something.
that we slept as
We
criminals.
slept as criminals. So you're calling us now
Yes,
criminals.
yes.
Hold on Thursday we are still coming out. So on Thursday people went out again, but then people are going out to a State House.
Yes.
They never entered State House, but they were outside State House. They sang. The army was
Oh,
there.
they made it to the State House.
Yeah, they made not near State House, but
Yeah,
on the road,
way.
like
Okay,
where
yeah,
the army
yeah,
had
on the
set
road.
up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they had put blockages for them to get in there.
But
'cause
they
it's-
were there.
Yeah.
They made their statement. We are coming here. We are coming here.
Yes.
But then, a funny thing is that on Tuesday, and this is what most Kenyans feel, whatever statement the president made on Tuesday of the 25th of June,
This was triggered up.
that was him. That was the real him speaking, because he spoke with a lot of anger. He spoke with a lot of, when someone speaks to you and you can feel that this guy is
pissed off.
He's pissed off at us.
He's taking the people for granted.
Yeah,
basically.
you're taking
His
us for
people,
granted.
Yeah.
Then the next day on Wednesday, that's when he came out with all his ministers. And shame on them, actually, these ministers and these MPs, because they were seated, but the previous day, before Parliament was breached, these guys on Monday and Tuesday morning, they were on record on TV saying this bill shall pass. This bill shall pass. True to their word.
That's a proper U-turn then, isn't it?
True to their word, they passed it.
Yes.
True to their word, they said this bill will pass, and they passed it.
The funniest
You know?
thing was one of them actually said, I didn't. I saw the writing anyway. He says that the guy said he was asleep.
Yeah, and
somebody
said
called,
yes.
Somebody called
He
his
thought
name
it was
and he
about
said
food.
yes.
He thought it was about food.
you know the fact that he was actually proudly saying I was sleeping.
I was sleeping.
On the job.
How? You're in
Then
Parliament
I woke
sleeping.
up, I had people saying yes, I said yes too.
And you know what? This is the thing why this generation is like, wait a minute, man. We're fed up of this oldies always coming in with an excuse of which they're getting away with a lot of things, man, to be honest with you.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
like every time you look at every situation, it's like somebody always comes up with something very cheeky. It looks funny when you read it, but when you start looking deep into it, this guy said he was asleep, then they called his name and he said yes. That's how it ended up being. So you're basically even calling the people you're working with idiots. Because how is it that because you said yes, that's why they just decided to say okay. Do you know what I mean? It's quite an interesting.
mad.
It's an
It's
interesting interesting way, man. But you know the name before I forget, because you remember, you listen to Tables Chronicles and you're always
Yes.
telling me, you always come up with the answer at the end.
Yes.
Napoleon Bonaparte is the name I was trying to remember.
Napoleon.
Bonaparte. Yeah,
So,
that's the guy who sold the
land, yes.
Louisiana land sale. Yeah, I think he was left-handed as well.
It doesn't make sense, yeah? How? As an MP of Kenya, over your 5-year period of serving, you'll earn
Well, Kenya, you guys do every 5 years.
5
You
years.
don't do
Yeah,
4
it's
years,
British. It's so British. It's unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
5 years.
Yeah.
So
But Ghana is...
You guys is 4 years.
We have 4 years, but Ghana was obviously...
because you guys follow that's what I said to you. West Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana follows the US system to the core. Now Kenya is one thing they've stuck with is that 5 years remaining in power thing. But when you get to Kenya, it's
But Kenya's a republic, right?
but it's in between. It's in between following the US or the UK. So even on that expressway that's been built, there's one part of it where I started laughing. I said, you know what, this country is funny. And the guys looked at me and goes, why are you saying it's funny? I said to him, his name is Benson. I said, Benson, let me tell you something, man. As I'm driving here, I can see the empowerment of two places.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah? I said, yeah. Center. You could see there it's written CENTRE.
Yeah, which is the English way.
Which is the English way, right? And then you go a little bit further down, the exit part, I think is CENTER. I said, now for you're not seeing exactly what I'm seeing, but I can tell you what I'm seeing is England
and
United
US,
States.
They're trying to dominate.
And that's the beauty of traveling. I think when you travel in the world,
this is it.
You
You start seeing it from a different perspective.
different
So
scope,
people travel. Travel is good.
Yeah, man. If you can,
Travel
please
and experience
the
good.
world and see what
The
it
world
says.
is a beautiful place.
'Cause
Complex but beautiful place.
because even the other day I was talking with I was talking and we're busy chatting, and then one of the friends just goes to me, it's not, you're saying ARCs, it's not ARCs, it's ASK. I said, oh God, here we go, man. And I said, you know what? The problem is when you hang around with certain people,
Yes.
you start picking up the languages in certain.
Yeah.
So for me, even when I'm in Kenya, I try my best not to speak in English.
Yeah,
that's good.
I try my best not to speak in English because
my auntie in the UK, yeah, she's like, I hate taking my small boys to Kenya because once I take them to Kenya, that's when everyone wants to practice their English.
Yeah, this is
Instead of these guys have come here to Kenya to learn
learn the Kenyan language.
to learn Swahili, to learn the native language.
Is Swahili the
it's a number one, not
number
Swahili
one
in English.
Yeah.
Oh, English, okay.
Yeah. But what's interesting is because I was even talking with my friend about this because he was saying that listen, it's funny how my children in the house, when they go to school, they're speaking in English. When they come back home, they speak Sheng, which is a mixture of both. English so Sheng is that's slang basically.
Yes.
Sheng is the slang of Swahili now.
Okay.
See, but it's a mixture of it now. Yeah. But when I was younger, I remember the schools used to have days where they tell you like it's only English you're going to speak today, or it's only Swahili you're going to speak today. But I think obviously as time has changed,
you know, you used to wear like these crazy things.
Yeah. But in Ghana, even this it's funny when you guys talk, right? I'm like, I feel like
it's the same system.
In Ghana, there's most of these kids who are in private schools and so forth, they don't understand their own native language. They only speak English. And the parents are so proud
of it
that their children are speaking English rather than their native tongue.
And I tell you, I've always said this. This is another reason why I was laughing with this Nigerian guy I know, right? Because I told him, I said, do you know the one country that speaks more English than anywhere else in the world is Nigeria. And she looked at me and she was like, what do you mean? I said, look, because she was talking, we worked together at the time. And she said to me, oh, stop parabolating. Listen.
Who the hell uses that?
Listen, I looked at her and I said, what did you say? She goes, parabolating. I said, what does that even mean? Right? Have you ever heard it before?
I've heard it, but then I don't expect someone to be using it.
No, listen, I never even knew Kenyans even know this. That's how I know you guys speak a different English now. Because she even told me after that, I told her, let me tell you something, man. I guarantee everybody here, it's only you that probably knows what parabolating mean, and another maybe Nigerian.
I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
It's walking basically aimlessly.
Oh, okay.
Parabolating is aimlessly, or you know what I mean?
Like running around a headless chicken.
Yeah, basically you're just walking around like you're walking around aimlessly. Stop parabolating, and I was like, I've never known that.
If you're talking, someone tells you that, they're saying stop speaking around the bushes. Just go straight to the point.
Yes.
It depends on what context.
But you see, that's one thing about Nigerians. When they speak English, they go to the core of a dictionary. And she told me like, oh, it's after I had a conversation with you, when you said you don't know what parabolating means, I started looking at myself a bit differently when I got home, and I was like, yeah. And she goes, I realized that even my own uncle and my dad used to read the dictionary. The Oxford Dictionary is what they used to read. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, they used to sit down and read it. And I was like, you see? And she goes, that's why sometimes when you hear me speaking and I come up with certain words and tones, you always look at me in shock.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, because I can't think anybody using that language at this moment in time. But time.
My thing about Nigerians is, speaking on Nigeria, is for me, obviously, I've grown up around a lot of Nigerians. My older son's godfather is actually Nigerian.
Yeah.
And I always say, if Nigeria gets their act together, Africa will be fine.
Oh yes,
that's
you see what I mean?
Listen,
but they're the only ones that don't like going back.
They don't really go back home.
I get the situation there, but
we have to them though. They have 250 million, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, but China did the same. The people in China they went out, plus. Studied,
almost 2.
Studied, then went back to China to build China. And then I think Nigeria. I know it's not easy, but we all, you and I, we go back and forth. We're trying to do things back home in our respective countries. I do a lot of charities back home and so forth. But for me, my thing is the children.
Yeah.
You have to get them at a young age and let them know how powerful they are.
Where home
as
is.
Africans and where home is. Yeah. And I always encourage them to travel. When the chance comes, travel. But always come back. So, I've got this necklace on. Funny enough, we're talking about coming back. Yeah. I got this necklace on today and it's called Sankofa.
I've seen this thing.
The bird
Sankofa. In tree.
That means that never forget the past. Always go back to where you come from. Your heritage, your culture, your roots.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So for me, it's important that we as Africans, we get that mentality back. And I'm not saying go and live there, but you have to have base there and touch the people.
I seen there's a guy I was watching on YouTube. I don't know if I shared that clip with you when he was from the US, but he's an Igbo man who built a mansion in Nigeria, man. Really nice house, man. But he was like, the interesting thing, he was like, I'll probably come to this house. It was $1 million property he built in Nigeria, but he was like, probably once a year you see me in his property. I was like, $1 million property and you're just being there once. Nah. Yeah. And you know what? The thing is, if you look at Africa in itself, right? Because a lot of people always like, Africa is this. There's more life.
Africa is
more life.
Africa is truly gifted. Let me be honest. Africa is truly
there's more
gifted.
life, man. You're sitting down there.
You know my story.
Can I give you some quick facts about Africa?
Of course.
So,
for exact.
let me start with the Congo first of all. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know if the river Congo was harvested, half of it, the power that river Congo has, like the way the river Nile has been harvested,
it will electrify the whole of Africa. Yeah,
electrify the whole of Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, that I know.
Honestly, that's one thing that personally, it
will electrify the biggest continent on the planet. Africa is the biggest
continent. Without having Dumso. Basically.
Yeah, Dumso.
Do you know what Dumso means? That's the power cut of Ghana.
Light on.
The KPLC cut off.
Doom means off, and Doom means turn off, and then so means on.
Oh, Doomso.
Doomso, yeah.
So Doom means off, and then so means
okay. So hold on. Speaking of which, because I read an article from some economist in Africa. He was saying that it was more in the line of imports and all that.
Yes.
And then I read a line that said that Nigeria is the biggest importer of generators in the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yes.
In the world.
Yes.
Yeah. So is it the same thing? Does Ghanaians also import a lot of generators?
Not only generator, we import everything. We import food, and we import onions from Burkina Faso.
Are you serious?
Ghana is an imported country. Yes.
Even the crazier thing. Let me tell you the crazier thing. Nigeria produces oil.
Yeah, it produces a lot of.
But Nigeria buys oil. He buys the oil back.
Well, that's what Dan Gota, I was listening to one of his interviews yesterday.
Yeah,
and he's built a refinery.
Finally,
yes.
Is it complete?
It's almost. I think it's almost there, or it's just about there. It's not far
Aliko
away.
Dangote.
And he said something really important when I was listening to that interview. He said, I was doing my walks and I had it in my ears and I just listened to it. And he said, why are we in Africa not producing what we consume? Just that line alone.
Finished.
It just got me like, why are you not producing something you consume? Why are you not producing your own? Why do you have to depend on somebody?
Depend on somebody else.
And he is he's a Pan-Africanist because what he says and what he's doing, he's a proof of it.
Okay.
It's not some of these so-called leaders, which we call politicians.
They lie to us.
Who come and say they are the most truest Pan-Africanist leader we've had is Kwame Nkrumah.
Yep.
And he's been like the light of beacon for a lot of Pan-Africanists around the world. And if you follow his teaching, all the stuff that he implemented during his time, Ghanaians are still using it today.
Look at that.
When it comes to our Doomso situation, the Akosombo Dam he built, we still get majority of our electricity from there.
Yeah.
And he, the roads, which is not, some of them are getting better and I could have redoing it. Most of the roads he built, the factories he built. So, when he talked about, he said he doesn't want Ghana to be free, he wants Africa as a continent to be free. Once Africa is free, then we are all free.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I think Nigeria is a very big... For me, I always call Nigeria
No, because Nigeria has that power.
I think they got the power. They can make that change.
Yeah. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that you're saying about, in Kenya, our biggest exports are coffee and tea.
Yeah, but
then the thing is... The thing is...
tea when you get here.
Yeah, is it?
Bruv, when you go to the shop, is it not English tea?
Oh, is it? They put it.
But tea doesn't come from here. It comes from Kenya.
Funny enough, they don't grow anything.
The thing is, even this tea and coffee, it comes here. then they do their value addition here, then
Yes.
it's taken back to Kenya.
Added
Yeah,
value.
yeah. They always
But
play
they can
around
do
with
it in Kenya.
They can do
Yeah.
it in Kenya.
It's just that recently they've
Okay,
been trying
can
to
I say
build up.
something else? That this finance bill, first of all, not this finance bill, the previous finance bill, last year's finance bill, yeah? You see this tea bag, yeah? You see this material
Yes.
that makes that covers the tea
Yes.
bag, yeah? That material, yeah, it's some sort of paper, right?
Yes.
They used to it was zero rated in Kenya. Zero rating in government terms, it means that once you produce it, once let's say you've produced this tea bag, you will pay for the VAT as the producer of this tea bag. You will pay for the VAT of the paper. Get the paper, make your tea, and sell it. Then you go to the government and tell them, yo, I paid VAT on this paper. Can you refund me?
Okay.
That means zero rated.
Okay.
You pay tax, yes,
And
but
then you claim it back.
You claim it back.
Okay.
But they
Why didn't they just abandon it in the
It's
first
just,
place?
just an English thing, isn't it?
It's just
They-
a more admin, isn't it?
they removed
More
it
money.
English
from
money.
zero rating to tax exemption.
Okay.
Tax exemption is different because this means now you will pay for the VAT, but you can't claim it back.
So how are you exempt then? Because exempt means that you're not meant.
It's just, as I'm telling you, using big words to confuse the masses. But when you look deeply on how this big, what the definition of this big word is, it doesn't really make sense. Just like you're wondering, why do you use tax exempting if?
You're still paying for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exempt means that you're
it's
excluded
out.
from it.
So
Yeah.
right now, there was some this how usually tea happens in Kenya. We harvest tea, you've seen the way they harvest the tea, putting them.
back.
Yeah, it's taken.
Is that your main biggest
Oh.
export? Tea.
Tea and coffee?
Tea and coffee. Okay.
Yeah, tea and coffee.
There's nothing.
And
There's no
tourism.
oil.
So Ghana is obviously gold and obviously
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
no,
we
no.
don't have, actually in Kenya, we don't have any
Oil.
natural resource.
We don't have any oil or any of that.
Yeah, we have.
yet.
I think
to be found.
I think they found
They
somewhere.
found
then,
some oil
But it's in the middle of
in Turkana in
some
Ngamia
ownership
1.
of somewhere.
But then
Oh.
it's not enough to like.
It's not that it's not enough. It's not there's nobody in there to actually grab into.
No,
it
no. Even
without
even
them
even
dragging.
the aquifer that was found, because it's underground, it's found in aquifers. Yeah, just like water. The aquifer that was discovered did not really hold.
It's
a
not
lot of
substantial
oil,
enough.
Yeah. It's not really.
But remember, the land is vast, isn't it? So there's so many things not yet discovered.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
the
the
thing.
thing.
That's the
'Cause
thing.
I
But-
think Ghana found oil. I believe. I
remember Ghana did find oil, yeah.
2012. Don't get me. I might be wrong, Ghanaian. I think it was around 2012 that we discovered oil, and we are still, and oil prices has actually gone higher
Higher.
since we
Shot up,
discovered
it's
it.
shot
But
up,
then you
yeah.
see, that's
There's
the
almost
thing.
like a punishment
And-
when you
and-
find
and
when
you
you find
see,
it, yeah, yeah.
The thing is, and I want you to understand something, and this is where Gaddafi was trying to advocate for like Africans to have our own united kind of currency.
Yes.
Because up to this year,
Yes.
as we speak, the world was pegged on the dollar. The oil, that oil to dollar contract that was there between Saudi Arabia.
Oh, they've just turned it, didn't they?
Yeah, they are not
wanna
ex-
cancel
they're
it.
using
They're
the
not-
break-
they're
it
not-
expired.
they're
currency
not-
anymore.
they're not-
It
they're not-
expired.
They're not.
they're not
renewing
renewing
it.
it.
Renewing it, no.
Yeah.
So they
This
want
is
to deal with
because-
the Russian.
Yeah,
what's
the
it called?
BRICS, isn't it?
Yeah, with the BRICS thing,
currency.
yeah.
Yeah, this is because and I can't blame Saudi Arabia because as an
So
economist,
Saudi needs to be careful. There might be a war coming down there.
Well, this is
America
it.
will
as
take that line
an
down.
economist, I can't lock out the rest of the world because that's the thing. US used the dollar to
Control the
harass,
world.
to control the world.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what to do what US wants, so we are not giving you the dollar. And if
Yes.
you don't have the dollar, buying
But you know
such
what, though?
things like oil becomes hard to you. So economically, you can't really blame the Saudis for doing.
Yes.
Yeah, for doing.
But
for
the thing
going-
is, let me tell you, Saudi Arabia has one of the best deals with the US, to be honest with you. Because what they did in the 70s, the US realized that because they tried to, I think it was in the 70s when the United States.
yeah, it was in the 70s.
They tried
yeah.
to,
I think
tried
it
to
was Nixon,
control
if
Saudi.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I can't remember who did it, but they tried to control Saudi, but it backfired.
Yeah.
And it backfired so bad that they realized that, you know what, listen, all you need to do is trade with the dollar.
Yeah, and we'll give you security.
Do what you want to do. Do
But
what you
just
want
don't mess
to
with the
do.
dollar.
Just keep the dollar moving. Hence
Yes.
why certain issues, like we were speaking about
Prince,
Khashoggi a few seconds ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that issue should be investigated. Saudi just said, oh yeah, it's under investigation.
Yeah.
This person and that person locked up. Do you know if they're really in there? No.
Brush under the carpet.
Well, this is it.
gone.
And that's why, there was a time in Saudi, I think still till today, when women go to Saudi Arabia, you have to be covered up, isn't it? Yeah, and women were not allowed to drive.
They started driving.
The women started
in
driving like
2019,
2 or 3 years ago.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, 2 or 3, 4
2019,
years ago, they
Yes.
started driving because of Mohammed bin Salah,
Yeah.
MBS, isn't it? He's the one that really pushed for that narrative. He's also alcohol is legal now in Saudi Arabia. That was a
really?
few months ago. Yeah,
Is it legal?
Really?
in
it's,
South
le- it's
Africa?
legal
legal?
now. It's legal now. It was
really?
illegal
But
to have it.
isn't that against their religion?
Well, the thing is, he's beginning to open up a little bit because they need the
have been locked.
market like Dubai.
Yeah.
The tourist market.
They
They have
need the
been
tourists
locked. They've been
they've-
locked away from
yeah,
a lot of
from reality.
economies. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I wanted to go to King Fahd Causeway, which is in what's the name of this island? Bahrain.
Yeah.
That King Fahd Causeway is a place I always wanted to go. I've been talking about this for
Yeah, the
young-
King's Court.
the King's Fahd, King
Yeah.
Fahd Causeway.
Yeah.
It's a road I wanted to drive.
Oh,
on.
that big road that
It's
has a
road
lot
that's
of
in the
lanes.
sea. It's
Yeah,
in
in
the
the
sea.
city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
in
it.
the
I've
sea,
seen
in the sea.
It's in the sea.
In the sea.
Yeah, it's a road that's in the sea. King
No,
Fahd
I've seen
Causeway.
the Bahrain thing that they
Yeah.
have a very long,
Yeah,
a
that's
very big
it's
road.
That's called King Fahd
that has a
Causeway.
lot of lanes.
'Cause
So
Bahrain is
you
an island.
drive.
You drive on they built
On the sea
on the
or-
sea. They built it on the sea.
Okay.
It's a road I wanted to literally drive on, and I was
Yes.
in Qatar, and I said, let's do this, man. Then my friend goes, yeah, let's do it. And before we even go halfway in, I started seeing that women couldn't drive at the time, so I was like, oh well, okay, this doesn't look like a good idea.
Yes.
Then he goes, oh, you also need a visa, and I was like, oh, that I didn't
Or
even
to
know.
drive.
To go into
Bahrain.
Okay.
No, to go into Saudi Arabia, you need a visa.
Oh, you're in Bahrain.
Yeah, I was in
You're in
Qatar.
You're in Qatar. Okay.
Yeah, so to get from Qatar to Saudi, there's that one border, and there's a time that they had an argument because it's called the GCC community.
Yeah, yeah.
So the GCC community is where Saudi Arabia, Bahrain,
The
UAE,
Mm.
what's the other one? Bahrain.
The
GCC is about
the
7
Asian,
states.
those-
There's
Yes.
7 states. They're all together as one. They're called GCC together.
Okay.
But then there was a time where Saudi had a problem with Qatar. So what Saudi did, this is when I said rich man problems are very interesting problems because Qatar is not a poor state.
Yes.
So what happened was Saudi Arabia had closed off its border with them. But what they started doing is Qataris that own camels, they were now sending the camels back at the border for them to go and deal with it. I say, yeah, that's what you call a rich problem. The fact, and they really value camels.
yeah, camel, yeah.
Is this a crazy thing, man? I sit down, I looked at it, I was like, okay.
So right now, going back to the conversation in Kenya and Ghana,
yes.
yeah. So I would first of all want the government to.
That's it. Have a look at it.
Oh,
All of it.
oh yeah.
Because I remember when I wanted to go there, I think to fill up a
That's
6.
incredible,
This,
isn't
this
it?
looks like a.
It's like $1 or $2 on the full tank at the time, or something
That's
crazy
incredible.
like that. I was like, what?
That's incredible.
But the part that I really wanted to you see that part.
Oh, where you
'Cause
go
you know
over
when
like
you
a
go,
little,
"Ooh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
when you
yeah.
go over that part, it's like
that loop.
I remember when I wanted to go there and see what it's all about, man. But man, when they started giving me the rules and I started seeing that the women can't drive, and then they've got like in the middle of it, they've got where the immigration that you cross through. now.
Yes,
It's like
the border checks, yeah.
Then you go all of that stuff. And you remember when Bahrain kind of went crazy at one point when they decided to also try and join with arms.
Yes.
What happened? They quickly closed that Pearl place. They closed it down and built something else.
This word is complex, isn't it?
It's
I always
quite
say try and find a nature place, relax yourself, be one with nature, and just enjoy. I say this world is heaven and hell. You choose which one you want to be in.
Choose
This
which one.
existence we're living in. If you're happy, you're in heaven. If
Yeah.
you're sad, you're in
You're in
hell.
hell,
So
yeah.
I don't know what Kenya's going through. It's a hell state
No,
at the
it's,
moment.
I wouldn't say hell. I'm saying purgatory. I would say purgatory because that's the middle. Yeah, you're not living in the land of the unknown. So you may either go to hell.
Yes. So you're sort of stuck in between.
Yeah.
You're stuck in between the nature
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
But anyway,
Because-
we'll see how this one goes, man, really and truly, because
Yes.
I'm yet to see. You've got the Kenyan police in Haiti. You've got and those. How much are those guys getting paid? Actually, that's what I wanted to get into when I was talking
Honestly,
about how much is that transaction worth?
Because
when I was
What's it,
looking
the
at
Kenyan government or
No.
the
The American
salary, the salary they're being given.
It's the Americans who are funding the whole.
Like, how much is it? Like 1,000 something?
No, the Americans are funding. I don't have the exact details.
why would the American fund?
Now that brings us
That's where it becomes
why,
a grey area.
Yes, because between America and Kenya, America is closer to Haiti than Kenya is.
Yes.
If America has vested interest in Haiti's safety and peace,
They
I'm
should
not
be
saying
bringing
Haiti.
they should be taking their
I'm not
police
saying
there.
I'm not saying Haiti should not be safe and all that.
So basically,
I'm
your
saying
president's a
it
puppet, basically.
Yes.
He is a puppet. That's what it
And
is.
this is what people are saying. If he's not lying, he's flying.
He come across. I watched a few of his interviews. You know him, Kagame. You know, Akufo-Addo.
He's an eloquent
yeah,
speaker.
your president. I thought, he's very. At one point, he was having a go at a French president.
Yeah.
telling him that we're not gonna borrow money. We want to. But all of a sudden, it's like
no.
it's like a facade, isn't it?
These guys are puppets, regardless of because the US controls, the UK controls these places.
Yeah.
That's why you got Commonwealth. What's Commonwealth about the Commonwealth? Nothing.
And we're all republic. So if you're a
Look at
republic,
that.
why do you want to come?
Yeah, why are you in a
If
Commonwealth?
you're so-called republic,
You
you're,
see what I mean?
free from.
Yeah, and look at Zimbabwe. Look at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is trading in dollars now. US dollars. Zimbabwe is trading.
They so far between 2015 and now, they have released close to 5 currencies, all of them flanking.
Look at that.
They release a currency, it doesn't do well, they dismiss it.
Look at that.
Release another.
And that's because it's from outside influence. That's
But then the US dollar is staying
because
in check.
they need the
And they
dollar.
haven't got the coins.
They need the dollar to
They
be
don't have
used.
the coins, so it's just the notes that they have.
We've got
See what I mean?
we've got a long way to go, but at least we're talking about it.
Yeah.
We are now
Well, this
becoming
is a
more
conversation.
conscious
It's a conversation
thanks to
for it,
the world of internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I think a lot of people use it for the negatives, but for me, it's a lot of people connecting and people are becoming more knowledgeable about these sorts of
And
stuff,
then
which is
the
great.
thing is, yeah, and I see this amongst right now the Kenyan online society, if I may call them that way, the X movement, the guys who really championed for all these demonstrations, all these protests, you know, the guys who are like on the forefront of, yo guys, let's not take this, yo guys, you see, I've seen now a division amongst them whereby people are like, yo, this guy is saying something that is different from what I'm thinking. This guy must be paid by the government to hinder this movement, which to me is a bad thing because that negates the whole aspect of freedom of speech.
Yes.
I think the thing is,
You get it?
Yeah.
Like
no,
why try and tarnish my name, saying that?
But there will be people there.
I know. There's some people. I know
come-
there's some people who have been approached by the government,
This is
paid
where I
by
say,
the government to like spoil the whole movement.
Yes.
I'm not negating that.
It's like history repeating itself.
Yeah,
isn't
well,
it?
this is
All
it,
the
and that's
time,
why I
isn't
always
it?
say this is where power and money and love are 2 things, man. I mean 3 things that you put in one table, and you get somebody who will come in there and they will take that money over everything else because they want you to know that I'm more powerful than all the love and the hate that you guys are talking about. I couldn't be interested because I can buy off all these people, and that's the unfortunate situation that we have. Because if I was even I made a joke like this on Tables Chronicles recently when we were talking about the Haiti situation. Because I said, if you can't send Nigerians, because I said if you want a powerful force to even go into Haiti to do what he wants to do, why not go and see the Nigerians? Because Nigerians are the one set of people who will figure out how to get in a system, irrespective of how you look at it.
Yeah,
You see what
that's
I'm saying?
true. That's true.
And I said it as that. And you remember, Haiti is the first black country to ever get freedom in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And they still paid back money.
And only
to
fight
fr- to-
freedom.
to-
They
to France.
actually
Belgium or France?
No, France. They actually defeated the French.
The French, yeah.
You know, the first slave colony,
Yes.
so to speak, to actually defeat.
To
the-
defeat.
master.
They're the first and the only one, really.
Yeah,
to
there you
do
go.
it.
But they still managed to say, but because you've made us go.
Yeah, they're still getting punished.
Still, that's the reason why Haiti is going through what it's going through. Because if you left Haiti alone, they know how to handle themselves.
Yeah, but Haiti is just a smaller part of what Africa is going through.
Yeah,
This is
because
it,
it's the
yeah.
same
because
thing.
this
And
guy
this is and it's the only
same
it's the only island that really stuck with Africa in many a situations.
these Western powers, yeah, the European Union, the America, like these guys have tentacles in our systems
Of course.
that we can't. That's why
You
shout
can't
out
unbreak
to
them.
Traore. and the Senegalese president, the
Yes.
Burkina Faso and Senegalese president, for what these guys are doing. These guys are like ripping off the clause that their masters had on their government.
Yes.
And as much as I know, speaking of Burkina Faso, I know the first 3 months under his leadership was not easy. But right now, I'm so sure they are better off than they were.
Yes.
I'm so sure.
Basure Diomaye Faye.
Yeah. The Senegalese.
I'm not pronouncing it right. The
Yeah.
Senegalese president.
Yeah.
Basirao.
I think it's early 40s, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in his early 40s,
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Because when you're in Africa, well, when I'm in Ghana anyway, I can speak Ghana mainly.
Yeah.
It's paradise. I know people always say, "Oh, but if it's that great, why don't you come and live here?" And I'm well, because you just don't pick up and go and live somewhere straight away. You have to build gradually.
You have to.
Now I'm in a stage where I can't go and just live there.
Yeah.
You know, and I tend to do more. But then you've got commitments here. You've got Nara Claims to promote and all that sort of stuff.
A matter of fact, anybody watching from Kenya, this is going to be available soon in Kenya.
Yes.
And we'll have the links ready when we have the whole side of it taken care of.
Absolutely.
So that you can be able to purchase it.
We'll get the government to cleanse first because they need to
Yeah,
cleanse
yeah.
first.
Oh,
Get the
yes.
system clean first.
Yes.
So they restore back to nature.
Yeah.
Send some water over there for them, because I've been watching some guys on YouTube from Kenya, man, and they're building nice houses, man.
Okay,
They're building some nice properties, man. I'm like,
I'll be
wow.
honest with you. Yeah, I'm almost done with my studies here. If I could land a remote job,
Yes.
You're relaxing back home.
I'm real. My head, my body, everything is on Diani Beach, just sitting there,
Just chilling,
chilling
Home
like
is home.
this.
Home is home.
typing away.
Typing. What do you guys need?
'Cause you know,
Is it 6 a.m. GMT or BST?
Look
Just
at
tell
that.
me.
Because you know what?
Home is
Because
home.
Kenya, you've
Home
got
is
Kenya,
home.
you've got
Yes,
the
you just
Masai
need the
Mara.
internet. You got the internet, so why not?
You have the Masai Mara. You can see all the big five are there.
Everything.
You've in the national park in Nairobi. You can see some animals. You've got the one that shoots the hot water from the hot springs, whatever you call them.
The Naivash?
No, Baringo. Somewhere near Baringo.
Yeah, Lake Baringo.
They've got this.
Lake Bogoria. It's Lake
Bo-
Bogoria.
yeah, that's the name of it.
Lake
Lake
Bogoria.
Bogoria. It's in that region
It's in-
anyway.
yeah.
What
So
what
it's
in
hot
that-
water. It's hot water that
Hot
shoots
water
up.
that shoots from the ground.
Yeah. Yeah,
geyser.
it's in one
Really?
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got flamingos on the other side, just swimming away like there's nothing.
Yeah.
With
You see what I'm
the
saying?
leg,
So when
with
you
the-
go-
with
when
the
you-
attractive leg.
When you
Yeah.
go there,
Yeah.
people go there with like
With the egg.
with eggs. Others go there with like rice. Just
Put
put
it
the
there.
rice, put the hot water in.
Boom.
Then put the pot on top of the water because the water is so hot. Just
It
boils.
does it in seconds.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. I've
Put
got-
the
I've
egg
got-
there.
I've got,
Just put the egg on a paper on a stick. Just put it in the water. 2 minutes.
I've got a
eggs
trip.
boiled.
I've got a
It's
trip
cooked.
coming up soon to be going down that region to go and see.
Yeah,
to
I'm
go and
looking
see
forward
it.
to that experience.
Man, that's
incredible.
that's something I'm following up, man. Because
That's incredible.
that's why I've said I need that car.
Yeah,
I
yes,
said,
yes.
you know what, Toyota, you need sponsorship. You need to sponsor me so that I can promote your product, your vehicle, because I've driven it, and that car is a great car to drive.
can
in that
vouch for
region.
it.
I can vouch for it all the way. I've had the experience of driving it on a roadway. It was sliding, and
It's built for the
it's
African
built
road.
for that African road, man. So whoever you are in Toyota, and if you ever
listening
anyone
to
in
it.
Japan that's listening to this, just know you can shoot me a message on Tables Chronicles or KIDDNAPPA_ the journey, and you can get into a conversation about the car. Let me document the whole story, and I'll do the trip from Kenya to South
be
Africa,
beautiful.
and South Africa all the
Back
way
to
back.
Cairo.
In fact, we speak to Sammy as well. We arrange how to hit all the way to Algeria and back. man.
Yeah, you should.
Do you know what I mean? We'll document the whole thing.
Come on the east side of the continent.
Come from the east,
Go back.
all the way
Go
north.
back through the west side.
Going to the northwest.
Yeah.
Yes,
And then
that'd be
down back
beautiful,
to
isn't it?
northeast. Yeah, because I've got my guy, my camera guy, Benson. Shout out to Benson. He's the one that takes care of most of my media stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him, Benson, you just get ready. We do this trip together, man. We see what's happening, man. Because you know what? What is this? That's why I said this life is a journey, man. Everybody talks to me. They was like, how come you change this thing to the journey? And I said,
Yes.
because this life is a journey.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you don't live, if you're not gonna live it, man, you're gonna be a miserable
Yes.
individual. And let's just be honest, man. Winters, are you prepared for the winter?
Don't remind me of cold, man.
Well, it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
In most countries, but especially I would say to you that, like, for especially being in Ghana,
Yeah.
June, July is a raining season.
Oh yeah,
June,
yeah.
July is our summer. So
Well, look at that.
my plan, which will happen
When
next year,
it's
as you
winter
know,
in
Yeah.
Ghana.
it's all happening next year anyway. Is I'm going back, so I'm going back fully. But I'm gonna be based there, holiday here.
Holiday here.
So
Family
this will
in
be
the
your
summer.
holiday.
This will be like the
destination.
destination.
They're like, oh, I need just to get away for like 2 weeks
Yes.
from Ghana. Then you come here.
Yes.
The way that you are here right now saying,
And
I
I'll
need
go
to,
back.
Yeah, you go.
There you
yeah,
go.
I
So I'm
get you
rotating.
now.
So like June, July is our rainy season in Ghana.
Yeah.
June, July is our summer season here.
Yeah.
So my plan is to always be in the sun throughout the whole year.
So June, July, you'll be here.
Thank you very much.
But
for
then
that.
the rest of the year, you'll be
I'm
in Ghana.
there, yes, there you
Okay,
go.
that's nice.
I've got it all mapped out.
It's good, man. Because you know what?
That's
the funny
nice,
thing
that's
is,
nice.
So this is what-
before we wrap up, man, because I don't know if you've seen the clips that happened recently in Kenya when the rains came in and they flooded up the whole
Ooh,
place.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
I
Yeah,
sent
yeah,
you. I
sent
sent you.
it to
See
me.
how
Yeah,
those
yeah.
guys? Those guys
That was
were
crazy.
That's bad. It's horrible.
Anyway, is I'm going back. So I'm going back fully. But I'm gonna be based there, holiday here.
Holiday here.
So this
in
will
the
be your
summer.
holiday.
This will be like the
destination.
destination.
They're like, oh, I need just to get away for like 2 weeks
Yes.
from Ghana. Then you come here.
Yes.
The way
So-
that you are here right now saying,
And
I
I'll
need
go
to,
back.
Yeah, you go.
There you
yeah,
go.
I
So I'm
get you
rotating.
now.
So like June, July is our rainy season in Ghana.
Yeah.
June, July is our summer season here.
Yeah.
So my plan is to always be in the sun throughout the whole year.
So June, July, you'll be here.
Thank you very much.
But
for
then
that.
the rest of the year, you'll be
I'm
in Ghana.
there, yes, there you
Okay,
go.
that's nice.
I've got it all mapped out.
It's good, man. Because you know what?
That's
the funny
nice,
thing
that's
is,
nice.
So this is what-
before we wrap up, man, because I don't know if you've seen the clips that happened recently in Kenya when the rains came in and they flooded up the whole
Ooh, the
place.
floods.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
I
Yeah,
sent
yeah,
you. I
you
sent you.
it to
See
me.
how
Yeah,
those
yeah.
guys? Those guys
That was
were
crazy.
That's bad. It's horrible, huh?
Some of them were like
horrible,
taller than some of the houses. When they was like
Bruh,
literally.
the thing was horrible, man. And then
yeah.
you see some people doing the dumbness. That's where I was like, mate,
Yeah, they were
what
trying
are
to
you
cross
doing?
with the car
Trying
and
to
then
you're trying to
water
cross
take
the
them
car and the
over.
water will take a man. Or try to cross with a bike and
And the
game
thing
over.
is, yeah, as why look at a driver, you can see that the river there is
Dangerous.
So bust out so much.
Yeah, but it's all down
dangerous.
to also the education. We growing up in the West here, our education allow us to challenge certain things.
to look at it and be like,
And
what
you're
the hell
why
are you doing?
that?
Yeah.
But I think when I look at Africa, well, especially the African education, some places, I can't say all Africa, it's mainly down to
Some
being
schools.
Yeah,
Some schools,
some schools, it's all down to listening to authority all the time,
Yeah.
regardless
If-
of authority.
if
Or
you're in this
be
car-
scared of the
So
system.
Yes,
if,
basically.
yes.
if you're in the car,
Yes.
the driver and the conductor are the authority. So listen to them.
Yes.
Okay, I get,
Yeah,
I get,
that's why, because when
That's
we
your
when we
argument.
go back,
Yeah, I get you.
living here, most of our lives, it's like a different ball game, because we're like, why are you doing that? I question things.
You're
Yeah.
questioning.
And then when
yeah.
you question the thing, you're arrogant. No,
Yeah.
I'm only questioning because
I
it
need to
doesn't seem
understand.
right.
I
Yeah.
need to get your mindset.
Curious
Yeah?
to learn and know
Yes.
why. Yeah.
Hence why I keep saying traveling, everyone is good. Travel. If you get a chance
Travel
to
and
travel,
see, explore.
travel and see, explore the world,
And see
then
what it has to offer
gain a better knowledge of
and learn from
self.
people around you as well, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't be
'Cause
ignorant.
Don't close down the doors and
Yes.
then be like, oh, it's because you know every single thing. Even for myself, I've learned myself in a different direction. Because sometimes I'm sitting down, this podcast thing has been coming up, and it's, even when you call me sometimes, and I'm
Yes.
sitting there, and I'm like, you know what, you actually pointed out something I never did think of it at that time, and I'm like, you know what, one of the biggest persons I know that likes to criticize me sometimes, it was like, I know this thing here, you know it, because you can talk through and you know facts when you speak.
can do it.
You just don't do it. You just don't start talking. And even the other, I forgot his name. He's a Uber driver. He's on one of the episodes. Remember? You
Oh,
listened
yes,
to-
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he even told
Send
me,
me
he
that
goes, listen, people are making millions, and you're speaking a better game than them. And I was
Yes.
like, okay, now I need to take this one on board to make sure that I
You're
cover my
absolutely
money.
right. You can't touch
But
everyone, bro.
this is it.
But if you touch one person, you don't know. Well, like that Tupac said,
Yeah.
I might be the spark that will light up, a thousand
Yeah.
people. So for me, I brought this book here. This is what I'm reading at the moment. The Power of Discipline. Now, we all say we're disciplined, but for me, that's my challenge for the next maybe 6 months. I need to get my discipline in check.
I think I'm gonna cop it.
It just came yesterday, and I'm already on page 50, I believe. So,
That's
there you
nice.
go. I'm gonna go through it by 2 days time anyway, and then my little boy is gonna be having it. My son, because we share books. He's
Yeah.
14.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I've been
that's
talking
nice.
to him about discipline.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, wait a minute, I'm not even disciplined. So I'm not going to be the hypocrite and tell him to be disciplined. So I start reading it, and then we're going to start discussing it. So knowledge is power,
Some
isn't it? So,
sort of a father-son book club.
oh yeah, we do that. We do. We have discussions of books, and he's the sort of
powerful,
kid.
man.
He's
That's powerful, man.
He's the sort of kid that when he comes to work with me,
Yeah.
and he's helping me out.
Yeah.
I tell him, send me your invoice.
Yeah.
And then he had to send me an
that's
invoice
nice,
before I
yeah.
pay him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tell him if you don't send me an
Oh,
invoice.
that's good. You teaching him from an early stage
course.
on the business intrigues of life.
Need to know his
Before
wealth.
we even
Yeah.
wrap up, you know what? This guy has a dog. What happened to your dog, man? Fully.
Oh, my vibe.
This guy has a dog. You know what? Because the other day I can't remember
My
what I was
vibe.
looking through, and I seen the
Yes.
clip of the video, and I was like, what happened to the dog, man?
Yeah, my dog, I had Vibe for 6 years.
Yeah.
He's only 6 years up. He was still like relatively
That's
young.
like 30 years in dog terms.
Yes. He wasn't. He was healthy. He was bouncy. Everyone loved Vibe.
Yeah.
So he's the sort of dog. If you're scared of dog and you meet Vibe,
Yeah.
my dog,
You're chilling.
you love dogs because he loved everyone. He had that energy. So that's why I called him Vibe.
Yeah.
It's about good
Oh,
vibration.
that's nice.
Yeah. So Thursday he was all right, and then the evening he started not feeling well, and then we thought okay, maybe upset stomach or something. And then Sunday I took him out to the clinic, and they said he's got a kidney and liver failure.
Oh my God.
So he ate something or drank something from the park. That's what the vets are saying because a few people have had the same issue in our area, where the kids when they were half time they were throwing substances on the floor and some dogs. So a few dogs have passed away from that also.
Oh, man.
And then my vibe was that one. So funny enough, before I came here today, I've been doing where we walk.
With where you
with
used
him.
to work with. Yeah.
So today I did one of his favorite plays before I came to do the podcast.
Okay.
And when I was there, I was very emotional. At one point,
Yeah.
I had a moment. I was like,
That means
I
what?
know you're here with me, and I know he's peeing on the tree
Yeah,
somewhere.
I see
next to
you,
the
I
library
see
there. So yeah, we just and me yesterday actually Tuesday was just 4 weeks since he passed. So yesterday, me and my son went to
I know he was
where
part
we
of the
buried
family,
him.
yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so where did you bury him then?
we buried him in the woods in
okay.
one of the villages near us.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a private land, and then we know the owner, and then they allow us to do it. So we can
Oh,
go there
okay.
every time, and then it will never build on because it's got public footpath in between.
Ah.
But
Oh,
the
okay.
side of his land we've buried, so you can have a build on there.
Okay.
So we were
Okay.
there. We sat there for about 45 minutes, remembering,
Oh,
laughing,
man.
and at the same time crying, which is I've been quite emotional about it.
Didn't you give vibes?
No, I couldn't give him cleanse. I couldn't give him cleanse.
That's a meat eater.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Listen, because since
And it
you
happened
brought
so
that up,
quickly.
Yeah.
Have you seen the lady that was on on one of the TV channels this morning or one of them?
Oh, when
And
they're
she
trying to
went
say
with
the dog is a veg, and they want to give
dog
the
is a
meat.
vegetarian.
And-
Yeah, she went, it's a vegetarian dog. Put the meat on one side, put the meat, and let the dog go. The dog munched down
Munch
that
the
meat.
meat.
Oh yeah. It was quite easy. Anyway.
Yeah, so that vibe. Rest in peace, vibe.
Rest in
That's
peace,
it,
vibe.
man. Yeah, man. Anyway, on that note, people, it's been a nice conversation, to be honest with you. We'll
thanks
see
for
how
having
this
me,
one
man.
goes. We definitely have to we'll arrange to come back again to see how things are going in Africa. I think the three of us will be having conversations about Africa. And even when I go to the other place, I'll be bringing you guys with me, man.
Yes,
Because
please
we have
Please do.
conversations and see what's going on. Because ideally, we want to see you guys back at home, relaxing and chilling, and knowing
That's the goal.
the sun is shining and you're chilling to shine with that sun.
And I say our one
That's
thing
it.
before we go quickly.
Yes, sir.
So I always say, being in Ghana, I see how they eat, and I'm sure in Kenya it's the same thing. Our eating habit is terrible, and I always say because of the sun, that's why a lot of Africans we're not dying. God, we're blessed with the sun, but the sun kills us, and we take that for granted.
Yeah.
So we, as the diasporans, we need the sun.
So
So
much.
Yes,
much
sir.
for our vitality. So if you get a chance, please get into the sun. And don't be putting on the suntan lotion on. It wasn't built for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today when I was-
You want a natural sun.
Today
on
when I
your
was
skin.
coming, I was on the train. I
Yes.
was like on the train,
Yes.
leaning on the train like this, just
Getting the sun in.
getting the sun
That's
because
it.
the whole morning
It's been cold.
in Tottenham. It has been
Oh,
cloudy.
you are in Tottenham. Where
Yeah.
was in Tottenham?
What
I live
football
in
team do you
Tottenham.
support?
Who, me? I'm a United fan, man.
I grew up in Northumberland Park.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
I grew
you-
up in Tottenham.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm a Northumberland Park boy. Yeah.
But definitely not a Man United supporter.
You're a Tottenham supporter?
No, behave. Arsenal.
Of all the teams to bring up. And on that note, people, have a good evening, good morning, and good night. Peace out, all of you. Thank you for listening. Those who are watching, like and subscribe to the channel. And enjoy us all, people. Thank you very much. Cheers to you.
Peace,
And make sure
peace
you
and
get
harmony.
your Nara. Get your Nara together. Hey, Moringa tea.
Yeah.
That's it there. The Nara tablet. This is it on the other side over here.
Yes.
And I also need to shout out Same One Ghana. No development, no vote. His song is out, people.
Boom.
Get listening to it, man. Get listening to it. No
shaka,
development, no vote. Same one, Ghana. What's the other song again? I was
Stronger.
Yeah, Stronger is out. He's
Stronger.
actually got the EP out for